Good morning. How are you all doing today? Welcome, welcome to today's episode of Surrounded by Love. I am your host. My name is Danielle, and today's topic is going to be: what are you going to choose today? When I say what are you going to choose, are you going to choose your past, or you're going to choose your future? It's something to think about: the past or the future. And when I say the past, what do I mean by that? What does the past represent? The past represents what's familiar, what's comfortable, control, complacency. It can also be pain, it can be trauma, it can be frustration, it can also be destruction or destructive habits, addictive habits. And the reason why I bring that up because when you're in an environment of dysfunction, you learn how to navigate that. You know how to maneuver through it. It's like you've become familiar with the rules of it and you stick with it because that's what you have become accustomed to. And that's not just for environments, that's also for your thought patterns, your mindset, even your emotions. Are you aware that you make decisions out of that? You make choices from that place? Because it's not just a place physically, it is a place mentally. A lot of times we choose what's familiar because we can control it or we feel we have control. We're comfortable because this is what we know. I know this person, I know that person, I know this place physically. I know how to get here and there. I know the ins and outs. I know the rules here. And everyone I know is here. Familiar? My mother's always been here. My aunt has been at this church forever. Familiar? My family has gone there forever. Our name is on the cornerstone. Familiar? So you would choose to stay in a place mentally or physically that's familiar to you where you will die there because of those things that keep you restricted and you feel bound to a location, whether physically or mentally. Well, I'm going to do it this way because that's the way my mother always did it, or my grandmother did it this way, and it worked for them. Is it working for you? The day in which you live, your grandparents did not. The times are different, everything is different, culture is different, circumstances are now different. You can't live your life based on what others have done or even the stories they have told you because it may be something used to guide you on what not to do, but it doesn't always apply. And yes, we can learn lessons from our past, but don't allow that to hinder you. Are you willing to take the chance on yourself to come out of that place? To leave behind what's familiar, what you feel comfortable with, what you feel you have control over, because you know that place. You know how to get around that place. Are you comfortable, so comfortable with your dysfunction because you're familiar and you know how to walk through it? Like you've mastered walking on eggshells. And you stay there because you don't feel as if you can do anything better for yourself. You've gotten accustomed to living a life of lack, of not enough. You have gotten accustomed to and familiar, and you have become comfortable with and accepting a poverty mindset, and that transcends race. So is that what you're going to choose for the remainder of your life? Is that what you want to do? You want to remain in those cycles because it is your choice. And this is to piggyback off what we talked about yesterday, your heart posture, because it all goes hand in hand. So if that's not what you want to do, or if you feel and you've been feeling for some time, some of you probably since all of this began because you had to be honest with yourself because you couldn't move around the way you were accustomed to moving. You had to stay inside. So your spirit had a chance to rest and to settle, and you felt unglued because then you had to face the things that you have been avoiding for so long. Yourself, how you really feel about certain situations. So you had time to think. So are you going to settle for your comfort because you're too scared to take a chance and do anything else? To learn something new, to do something different, go somewhere different, live in a new place that you've been longing to go to move. And then there's another choice. So it's either all of those things that I just described, or the other choice is your future. So what does the future represent? It's new. It is unfamiliar. It's exciting. There is some fear attached to it because it's not something you have ever known. It's different. It's new. So you wouldn't know how to maneuver. You don't know all the places to go. You don't know all the people in the room. It's something more than you thought of, probably more than what you imagined or envisioned for yourself. So, in order to move to the future, and you can make that decision any time of the day, to do that, you have to leave some people behind. You have to leave some things behind. You will have to leave your old mindset. You will have to let that go. Those behavior patterns, those speech patterns, even those thought patterns that have trained you and kept you complacent in the past cycles, you're going to have to let it go. You can't take it with you. It won't fit. It won't work. Just as the Bible says, you don't put new wine into old wineskins. That's reality for a lot of us. You can't take the old with you into a new place. You can't put a new patch on old clothes because it'll still tear because the clothing is old, is worn, the material is worn. And vice versa. If you were a person that were accustomed to having emotional outbursts or just venting and complaining about leadership and always gossiping about people you may work with, if you want something new and different and you want to move up, you can't take those behaviors with you. And a lot of times those type of things, they hinder you from going anywhere different or doing anything different. And that's something you do to yourself because it's not something you have to do. And as far as your mindset goes, as far as the complaining and always being negative and saying negative things, that's what keep you stuck. But to go into your future or your next place, you're going to have to change your mindset and also identify how things you have encountered or gone through or accepted. A lot of that is what it forms the decisions you make. And when you refuse to try new things or accept opportunities that are presented to you, you do that because of fear. Because you make the decision not to do it based off of something you have experienced from your past. And with that, you just assume because it may look like something you have encountered before, and you feel that you know, well, I know how this is going to turn out because I've seen this before. But is that always true? Because everybody does not fit the description of the person that hurt you, because they are not that person. But how would you know? You don't give them an opportunity to find out. And I'm speaking of encounters like at work, um, like at home, meeting new people, like new friends. You can meet people like in a restaurant, on your job, at the grocery store, in church. Everybody is not like that. And I'm saying, like, giving people an opportunity just to get to know who they are. I'm not talking about nothing like extenuating, like in encounters or dating or nothing like that, but it can go into dating as well. But that's not our topic for today. If you want the future, you're going to have to learn, which means it takes time, because you will have to unlearn what you have known and be almost reprogrammed for something new. It's just like computers or even our cell phones. When they send updates, that version of the software worked before, but when they find out the problems and the bugs and things that may slow down devices, they develop technologies or things to fix that. So it would enhance the overall technology for us to have a better experience. So they send us updates and we have to download it. So what are you downloading today? More of what you already know? Are you taking the time out to do something different? Maybe read a book. Sign up for a course. Or if you're watching television, are you watching something educational? If you're just not doing anything, maybe exercising. If you want a snack, find out what's a healthy snack. Change your eating habits, because a lot of what we eat controls the way we think. If you're taking in a lot of sugar, that really plays a big part in your emotions. You don't have to believe me, do your own research, and you'll find plenty of evidence. The purpose of this is for us to see that we have to do the work on ourselves. You won't always have someone there to hold your hand, but if you start the process with you and making some choices, some decisions consistently, and you have to be consistent with it. You can't just for a moment, oh well, you know what, I'm going to do this and then let it go and think everything is going to change. That is not correct. That will not suffice. You're going to have to make a daily decision, daily, all throughout the day. When something appears to you and you know the way you would have reacted before, you can make a decision to change that, because it will also alter what's to come to you in your future. When you keep repeating same patterns and displaying familiar behaviors, you continue to keep yourself in that cycle. But when you choose to do something different, it opens up for more things to come to you. It's not that opportunities are not out there, but we close ourselves off to them by the things that we do and what we say. And those were my thoughts for today. I just wanted to share them with you. And again, thank you for taking the time out. My name is Danielle, and this is Surrounded by Love. I invite you to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Surrounded by Love. You can also follow me on social media, Twitter and Instagram at D as in Danielle, Liz, Liz as in zebra, Caesar, Ceaser. And if you have any questions or suggestions, you can send me an email at surroundedbylove20 at gmail.com. And that is all one word, surroundedbylove20 at gmail.com. Thank you so much, and I'll see you again on tomorrow. Happy Thursday.